The basic concept of the yin-yang has been around in TV shows and movies for a very long time, especially in sci-fi and fantasy. The yin-yang speaks to the moral philosophy of Hollywood, in general, that is. You may ask, what is the yin-yang exactly? What does it mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's a brief summary of a complicated Chinese philosophy. The yin-yang, in its simplest form, is all about balance. The black side is called the yin, female, dark, even numbers, earth, cold, etc. The white side is called the yang, or rather yang, male, light, odd numbers, heaven, warmth, etc. There is a yin and there's a yang to everything. Both sides are complementary to each other, working in harmony and trying to maintain balance. As Sandra states in her video,
the equal proportion of each opposite shows that they are of equal importance and complementary. One cannot exist without the other. The intertwining and swirling of the two represents the self-created and ongoing cycle of these two opposites. One transforms into the other. The swirling also represents movement. At any point, yin or yang is in the process of changing. Things are always transforming, one way or the other. But as we've seen, the ancient Chinese intellectuals never meant it to represent good and bad, although the rules can apply there too.
Since Sandra states that the yin-yang theory can be applied to morality, and since this is where Hollywood generally takes it, this is what I will be addressing specifically. According to Hollywood, the white spot in the yin is the touch of good, and the black spot in the yang is the touch of evil. One cannot exist without the other, and nor should they ever be separated, for if they were, balance would be lost. Balance is of the utmost importance to maintain order and peace. In Star Wars, Anakin was the chosen one, the one to bring balance to the Force. Well, the sequel trilogy puts this into question by having the Emperor live and being killed by Rey, and that maybe Rey is the chosen one, but we'll forget that since that's stupid, and there is no sequel trilogy in Ba Sing Se. Star Wars implies that Anakin had to be a Jedi turned Darth Vader turned Jedi again to fully bring balance to the light and dark side of the Force. Why or how the Force was unbalanced, I don't know. But Anakin had to bring balance to both sides of the Force, good and evil. According to Star Wars, both exist, both need to exist, and both need to be used to maintain harmony and balance. Legend of Korra follows in the footsteps of Star Wars. In a two-parter, Legend of Korra explains the origins of the Avatar. We are introduced to two spirits struggling with each other. The white one is called Rava, and the black one is Vatu. See where this is going? They are separated by a passerby, and Rava rebukes the passerby for doing this, stating that he has thrown everything out of balance, and Vatu will thrust the world into chaos and destroy it. Rava claims that she is light, and that Vatu is darkness, and that neither of them can rid the earth of each other forever. Rava does not state that she represents goodness and Vatu evilness, but the writers portray them to be this way. If Vatu seeks to destroy the world, well, he's kinda evil. Rava, at her core, wants goodness and peace, so I don't know, sounds like more than a light bulb to me. Star Trek has been a very strong proponent of this ideology in all of its series, but I'd like to point out one episode that really trumpets it and really brings this philosophy to its logical end, and it is the originals episode, The Enemy Within. In this episode, Captain Kirk is beamed back on board, but because of those super safe transporters, our dear old Kirk's good and evil side are split, making two new Kirks. The good Kirk is nice and everything, but man, he's indecisive and incredibly weak. Good Kirk loses all leadership abilities. He is useless to everyone. Evil Kirk is disturbingly bad. He has, oh my gosh, why are we showing this to our children moments. He's super messed up. Now, the episode ends with this lesson. Both Kirks need each other. For good Kirk to be an effective leader, he needs evil Kirk. For evil Kirk to not be such a jerk, he needs good Kirk. So in the end, both are needed and both are good. What? First off, I find it strange that one needs evil qualities to be a strong, decisive leader. And what are these evil qualities anyway? Aggressive, stubborn, decisive, anger? These are not inherently evil emotions or traits. For example, are you stubbornly against murdering people? Good. Are you angered by child abuse? Good. Do you aggressively pursue greatness? Good. But the same is true vice versa. Are you stubbornly refusing to move on from a petty insult? Bad. Are you angered that someone chewed a bit too loudly? Bad. Do you aggressively drive like a lunatic? Bad. It's why you feel that way and what you do with that emotion or trait that dictates whether it is immoral. Anger in of itself isn't bad. Stubbornness in of itself isn't bad. Aggressiveness in of itself isn't bad. Quick decisions aren't emotions, aren't bad, so I don't even know why the enemy within jumped on this, but whatever. The idea that you need evil to balance good is strange. People often wonder, why does evil exist? Why do innocent people suffer? But then in the next breath, they say, yes, you must have evil to balance out good or everything will be bad. Which sounds like a very weird, contradictory sentence. A question that is asked, but never given a thoughtful answer is, why is balance needed in terms of morality? Balance is good in most things, but not in morality. In the case of Anakin, if he had to turn evil then back to good to get balance, then logic states that Anakin killing the Jedi children, executing Order 66, and his years of torturing the galaxy as a Sith was a necessary and good thing. Was evil Kirk forcing himself on girls a good thing because it balances out good Kirk? And how does Vatu's love for chaos and death bring balance or, as the Yin-Yang morality states, aid the greater good? It doesn't. Balance, the need for evil and good, inherently condones the evil actions of Anakin, evil Kirk, and Vatu. The victims of these people, the murdered children, the girls who are forever traumatized, the death of Rava, the threat of more death and impending chaos on humanity are forgotten. Yin-Yang morality absolutely refuses to acknowledge the victims of evil and, even worse, condones the actions of evil people by stating that evil is good. The idea of balance in morality is disturbing. It praises evil and gives little thought to those who suffer at the hands of evil. Justice is blurred and becomes a joke. Sandra states in the video that a moving yin-yang represents things changing, evolving. If applied to morality, which Hollywood often does, it will breed discord, the opposite of what a yin-yang hopes to achieve. Morals that change, morals that are relative, will throw a society into utter chaos. No one can declare anything wrong. There's always a way to excuse a bad behavior or to be critical of a good behavior. One day, you running me over with a car because I'm a girl is evil, and the next, it's okay because I hurt your feelings somehow. This is a recipe for disaster. If morality is ever changing, how can you ever tell me that domestic or child abuse is wrong? You have no standard to point to other than yourself. And why should I listen to you rather than my own heart? This is why individuals and societies cannot and should not dictate morality. We have real-life examples of societies that handpicked its morality, and these are the moral disasters we received. Rome persecuted Christians and murdered them in unimaginable ways. Germany hunted down Jews and brutally murdered them for just being Jewish. America partook in slavery and severely abused their slaves. Africans sold each other into slavery and also took in white slaves of their own. Again, societies cannot and should not dictate morality. The belief that morality is subjective leads to morality based on an individual's feelings. This is incredibly dangerous. Feelings do not shape reality and change faster than a blink of an eye. Those who lean upon their own feelings for morality tend to be inconsistent and hypocritical. It has a wrong for thee but not for me attitude. What is fair? What is just is a standard that an individual decides and is often not consistently applied to others around them. A person will talk about how much they look out for their own self and that they come first, but then are appalled and hurt when someone treats them with the same selfish attitude. Of course you don't mind if you treat someone the way you feel, but heaven forbid if someone treats you according to your own philosophy. Feelings that dictate right and wrong is subjective to the one who holds it. It is swayed by convenience and whether it personally harms you or someone you love. Subjective morality leads to all sorts of dark places. Its roots are selfish, and it cares little if it harms others. The ends justify the means. You can hurt, physically or emotionally, the ones who stand in the way. Interestingly enough, Anakin's main reasons for succumbing to the dark side was because of his relative morality. He had no qualms with lying and deceiving the Jedi Council, whether it be about Padme or something else. Yet, Anakin complained that it wasn't right, and Obi-Wan did not want him informed that his death was staged.
Anakin, it was my decision to keep the truth from you. I knew if you were convinced I was dead, Dooku would believe it as well.
Your decision.
I know I did some questionable things, but I did what I had to do. I hope you can understand that.
You lied to me. How many other lies have I been told by the Council?
Anakin was being hypocritical, and his attitude was, wrong for thee, but not for me. He held others to a higher standard than he held himself. He committed heinous crimes, yet he thought himself better than the enemies he fought and helped to bring down. Because of Anakin's lack of moral objectivity, he was easily convinced by Palpatine to do things that were unspeakable, all in the name of saving Padme from eventual death. But if morality is subjective, if morality is based on feelings, then who can declare what Anakin did was wrong? Evolving subjective morality is inconsistent, hypocritical, and dangerous. Morality should be, and is, objective and consistent, a standard that does not change for anyone, regardless of feelings or culture. Objective morality gives justice meaning, and it will be served. The victims are not forgotten or ignored. In truth, what is morally right and morally wrong has always been morally right and morally wrong. The rules have never changed, no matter how much we humans love to try and change it. The Yin-Yang moral philosophy is wrong and dangerous. Hollywood should not portray it as a good thing to yearn for or to chase, and we should not pay heed to such lessons.